Have you noticed how companies hit a certain age? Their growth slows down, and suddenly they start acting like a divorced guy in his 50s. They don't have the energy to build anything new, so they just go out and buy something flashy to make themselves look younger. For guys, it's a Corvette for Adobe. It's a 25 billion stock buyback. I have spent the last 48 hours crunching the balance sheets, the options chains, and the 2028 binomial pricing models. The numbers are trying to tell us a story. Adobe is exhausted. And instead of just admitting it and handing us a little cash every quarter like a respectable adult, why not just pay a dividend? They are doing financial gymnastics to pretend they are still a tech darling. Let's break down exactly why this buyback is an illusion, why the options market is hallucinating, and where the math actually puts the stock by January 2028. 1. The wallet check. They can't actually afford this. You know that friend who invites you to a Michelin star restaurant, orders the Wagyu beef, and then his card gets declined. So he asks if you can spot him. That is Adobe right now. They announced a 25 billion buyback to retire roughly 14.7% of their shares. That sounds great, right? Except I looked at their balance sheet. Total cash on hand, 659 billion. True free cash flow, 985 billion. You don't need to go to MIT to see the problem here. 6.5 billion in cash does not buy 25 billion worth of stock. They can't afford it. To pull this off, they have to take out roughly 15 billion in new corporate debt. In this interest rate environment, taking out a loan at 6% just to buy your own stock is like taking out a second mortgage to buy your own furniture. If you want to return capital to shareholders, but you don't have 25 billion lying around, why not just pay a dividend? Just send me a check for $2 a share. Put it in the mail. I'll buy myself a nice sandwich. We don't need this whole song and dance. 2. The 99-month trap and the AI elephant in the room. Let's talk about the actual business. Assuming revenue and expenses stay exactly flat, Adobe is currently bringing in 23.77 billion in revenue, but they are burning 15.06 billion in operating expenses. A 10.5% growth rate is fine if you're making tractors, but it's terrible for a premium software company. And let's be honest about the product. Is their 99 a month subscription becoming obsolete? Absolutely. I used to need Photoshop to crop a picture. Now, I can just open a generative AI app, type, make a picture of a dog riding a skateboard on Mars, and I have it in 4 seconds for free. The barrier to entry for creative work has completely collapsed. The prosumers are canceling their subscriptions. Adobe knows this, which is why they are trying to artificially shrink the share count. They know the top-line revenue isn't going to save them anymore. 3. The 2028 binomial model. The options market needs therapy. I took the current terminal data, stock it, mapped out the forward-looking binomial option pricing model to January 2028. The options market is pricing in a massive swing. The math says the upper node, the delusion, the lower node, the panic, and the stock hit that 4.54 upper node by 2028 with flat revenue and a massive buyback. No, it is mathematically impossible. Here is the dirty secret of financial engineering. If they borrows 15 billion to buy back stock, they add about 900 million in new interest expense every year. So net income actually drops from 69 billion to 69 billion. Yes, they retire 89 million shares. Yes, the EPS goes up on paper to about 1910 because there are fewer shares to go around. But institutional investors aren't stupid. They see stagnant revenue. They see the AI threat. They see a balance sheet suddenly burdened with debt. Because of that, the market will stop treating Adobe like a growth stock and start treating it like a utility. Conclusion, stop the charade. The stock isn't going 450 by January 2028. It's going to drift sideways to slightly down, trapped in the 230 to 280 range. The 25 billion buyback is just a very expensive band-aid covering a hole in their top-line growth. If Adobe wants to keep investors happy while transitioning into a slow-growth legacy tech company, they need to stop pretending they are still the hottest girl at the prom. You're maturing. Don't be accepted. Buy some comfortable shoes. Start going to bed at 9 p.m. And for the love of God, why not just pay a dividend?